Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. वाञ्छकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः. अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय. शिला प्रभुपाद की जय. असम्बल डिवोटीज की जय. हरे कृष्णा. Please accept my humble obeisances. This is Vinita Gandharvika Devidasi from Texas College Station, welcoming all of you to Bhakti Sangha conference call. I thank all of you for attending this session. Please forgive me for interrupting your ecstatic chanting. I would like to read the 10 offenses to the holy name which are to be avoided, written by Srila Vyasadeva in Padma Purana. 1. To blaspheme the devotees who have dedicated their life for propagating the holy name of the Lord. 2. To consider the name of demigods like Lord Shiva or Lord Brahma to be equal or to be independent of the name of Lord Vishnu. 3. To disobey the order of the spiritual master. 4. To blaspheme the Vedic scriptures or scriptures in pursuance to the Vedic version. 5. To consider the glories of chanting Hare Krishna to be an imagination. 6. To give some interpretation to the holy name of the Lord. 7. To commit sinful activities on the strength of the holy name. 8. To consider the chanting of Hare Krishna as one of the auspicious ritualistic activities which are offered in Vedas as fruitive activity karma kanda. 9. To instruct a faithless person about the glories of the holy name. 10. To not have a complete faith in chanting of the holy name and to maintain material attachment even after understanding so many instructions on this matter. It is also an offense to be inattentive while chanting. Every devotee who claims to be Vaishnava must guard against these offenses in order to achieve the desired success of Krishna Prema. Once again, I thank everyone for joining today's Bhakti Sangha conference call. Before we move on to Srimad Bhagavatam class, may I know who all joined this morning? Hare Krishna. May I know who joined this morning?
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances.
Dandavat Pranam Mataji. I'm from Dharmavaram, Andhra Pradesh Mataji.
What's your name, Mataji? Ankita, right?
Ankita. Yes, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna,
Hare
Mataji. Please
Krishna
accept my humble
Mataji.
obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you, Mataji, for joining in. Who gave you this link, Mataji?
I'm in Bhakti Sangha group Mataji.
Hari Bol. Very nice. Welcome to the call, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Vinita Gandharvika Mataji. Pranams to you. It's Revati Priya Devidasi from Naperville today.
Oh, Hari Bol. Hare Krishna, Revati Priya Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Welcome, Mataji. Welcome to the call. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank
Mataji,
you.
now you're in US, Mataji. Before you were in different country, right?
I am actually. I live in England, Mataji. I live in London, but I'm just visiting Naperville currently.
Hari
And
Bol.
my niece has also joined the call. Would you like to say good morning, darling? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, this is Amba.
Hare Krishna, Amba. Welcome to the call. Hari Bol. Hare
Hare Bol.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Nice, Mataji. Welcome to America. Thank you. It's very nice
Thank
that
you.
you can join us now because you're in US. This timings might be comfortable for
A
you.
little bit more, yes. I'm here for a couple of weeks and then obviously going back home.
Hari Bol. Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Krishna,
Anybody would
Vinita.
like to introduce themselves? Please go ahead.
Hare Krishna, Vanita Gandharvika Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and all the assembled devotees. This is Indulekha Karuna Devidasi from Elcom.
Hare Krishna, Indulekha Karuna Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining and giving your association every day. Welcome to the call, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Is there anybody who would like to introduce themselves? Please go ahead. Hare Krishna. Please accept my humble obeisances, Prabhuji. And, Babu Prabhuji, please accept my humble obeisances. Thank you for joining us every day and chanting with us, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. And Prabhuji, please let me know if you want to do some services. Like we have like introduction of the speaker. Some devotees come over here and read the introduction of the speaker before we hand over the call to speaker. If you would like to do that kind of services, please let me know. My number, I'm going to put it down here. You can contact me if you want to do any services in the group. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, everyone. Welcome to Bhakti Sangha conference call. Today we are very fortunate to have His Grace Ramgiridhari Prabhu to enlighten us on the topic of Srimad Bhagavatam, 7th canto, 15th chapter, 57th verse. Before I hand over the call to Prabhu, I would like to read Prabhuji's introduction. His Grace Ramgiridhari Prabhuji is a disciple of His Holiness Jayapataka Swami Maharaj, practicing Krishna consciousness since 1989, hails from Sri Rangam, Tamil Nadu, India, currently living in Navi Mumbai. His services are trustee in Bhakti Vedanta College, Radesh, and Alfred Fraud School of Management, Belgium. Responsible for collecting annual reports from the ISKCON temples, preaching centers, Namahattas, and process and maintenance in database. This service is under the preview of Governing Body Council of ISKCON, Director of North American Institution of Oriental and Classic Studies, NIOS, Tennessee. One of the leader of congregational development initiatives of ISKCON Navi Mumbai, organizes programs and preaches to young children, youth in Mumbai. Has a master's degree, MS in software system from Birla Institute of Technology and Science, BITS, BITS Pilani, and bachelor's of engineering, electronics and instrumentation from Anna University, University Chennai. Co-founder, managing director, and CEO of Gauranga Software Tech Private Limited, a software development and technology services company since 2007. Co-founder and director of Goloka Education, an educational resource development company since 2011. Co-founder and director for Goloka Kids Education, an early childhood education initiative of Goloka Education. Thank you, Prabhuji, for all your wonderful services. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. All glories to you. And first of all, I'm very, very grateful to you, Prabhu. In the last minute, you have accepted the service. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Very grateful to you. Over to you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, can you hear me?
Prabhuji.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. It's a pleasure to speak Srimad Bhagavatam in the Assembly of Vaishnavas. Can I start? Is it okay?
Prabhuji, yeah.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayet Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. So we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 7, Chapter 15, text number 57. Adavante jananam sat bahiranta paravaram jnanam nyeyam vajo vakyam Tamo Jyotistva Ayam Swayam. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Translation. He who exists internally and externally at the beginning and end of everything and of all living beings as that which is enjoyable and as the enjoyer of everything, superior and inferior, is the supreme truth. He always exists as knowledge and the object of knowledge, as expression and the object of understanding, as darkness and as light. Thus, He is the Supreme Lord, is everything. Purport. Here the Vedic aphorism, Sarvam Kalam Ida Brahma, is explained. It is also explained in the Chatushloki Bhagavatam, Aham Eva Asam Eva Agre. The Supreme Lord existed in the beginning. He exists after the creation and maintains everything. And after destruction, everything emerges in Him. Everything merges in Him, as stated in Bhagavad Gita, Prakritim Yanti Mamikam. Thus, the Supreme Lord is actually everything. In the conditioned state, we are bewildered in our understanding, but in the perfect stage of liberation, we can understand that Krishna is the cause of everything. Ishvara Parama Krishna Sakchidananda Vigraha Anadiradir Govinda Sarva Karana Karanam. Krishna, who is known as Govinda, is the supreme controller. He has an eternal, blissful spiritual body. He is the origin of all. He has no other origin, for He is the prime cause of all causes. Brahma Samhita 5.1. This is the perfection of knowledge. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yenam Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnu Padayam Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedantam Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Sunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrindam Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So we are discussing the instructions that Narada Muni is giving to Maharaja Yudhishthira. It is very important that these instructions are very carefully and objectively valued. Very carefully valued because they are coming from an experienced, self-realized soul. And objectively because sometimes we are known to mix up things without realizing Desha Kala Patra. In this chapter, Narada Muni is specifically explaining about different types of Brahmana and their associated responsibilities, their characteristics, And he is helping us to identify real dharma from a bogus dharma. So this particular shloka is very nicely explaining about the transcendental nature of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So, as we always do, let's churn this current shloka and its context and learn some reflections from them. The very first one is a kind of a question and something to help us introspect. Suppose, for example, every individual can meditate on this, what I'm going to say. Suppose we are standing in front of the Supreme Lord. As of now, Archa Vigraha form of the Lord. Our own, favorite temple, favorite altar, whether it is, Vrindavan, Mayapur, wherever, whichever place of our choice. How long we can stand in front of the Lord and what we will do? What generally is our routine in terms of standing in front of the Lord? What do we do when we stand in front of the Lord? What are the general things people tend to do? And what is the maximum span of time we generally stand? One is with respect to the practicality of time and daily schedule. Assume that you are completely free. How long we can stand in front of the Lord? We can definitely do it as an activity, but at least with the limitation of time. I wish we will discuss this in elaborate at some forum, because we as a sadhakas, leaving aside all those self-realized souls and sincere souls, we are seeing Krishna as someone who take care of us, which is true. But we have never positioned ourselves, realized within ourselves, God ready of ourselves to love Him. Our love to Krishna is very subjective, situational, and depends upon what phase of life I am in. I am dealing with some set of youths in our congregation. So I have started to learn some Gen Z words. One of the words that I have recently learned is what we call as situationship. The word situationship is that I will utilize the relationship, be in the relationship according to my situation, mood. And unfortunately, it's associated with sexuality and, illicit activities and sensual activities. But if I can just borrow the word and not the associated actions, sometimes we as sadhakas, we stand in front of Krishna and our interaction, understanding, relationship with Krishna in the form of a situationship only. Meaning, okay, let us, take a couple of examples. Typically, those who are from a very cultured, traditional upbringing, you all would have heard from our grandfather, grandmother, and our family saying that let us pray to the Lord for some result. How will our prayer be? Krishna, please give us a very good male child, we will come to Tirupati and, shave off our head. Please, Krishna, give us a beautiful, bride or bridegroom. We will give you, 1 kg of gold as a charity. Have any one person have done? I am shaving off my head first. You give me a male child. I am giving 1 kg of gold first. You give me a good bride. We will not do that. That is also business. This is also business. But even in that business, in Hindi, there is a word called matlabi, which means you please produce the result first, then take the commission. Take the, vyavasaya buddhihi. Srimad Bhagavad Gita explains vyavasaya buddhihi. But Krishna is asking us to do vyavasaya atmika buddhi. Unfortunately, because of our material conditioning and religious sentiments, which have a significant shortfall of, shastric understanding and bona fide association, our relationship with Krishna is nothing but situationship. We challenge Krishna. You give me this and take this. We never say, Krishna, I give this because they belong to you. And you see if you want to give me or not. One step further above is what Prahlad Maharaj said. Krishna, I am ready to do everything for you. You don't need to do anything for us. So my first reflection is an important reflection that each and every one of us need to have by asking us a question, what is my relationship with Krishna? Not technically, theoretically. We all know. I'm sure all the 33 members in this call, you are all Bhagavatam speakers, Bhagavatam students. As I am speaking, you will also be able to present very clearly, correct, wonderful, answer much better than, anybody else could imagine. But how many of us, in what point in time, we are able to define, yes, now I am loving Krishna. Now I will do something for Krishna. And I will do something for Krishna without asking anything in return. And accept whatever he gives. We don't need to do this theoretically, but at least as a prayer, as a goal, as a desire, and as a journey. Do we have them or not? It's a big question mark. I'm not framing anyone, but I'm posing a question. So, when we are discussing about the Supreme Lord's supremacy, theoretically knowing the Lord being supreme, we all know. And loving that Supreme Lord, serving to that Supreme Lord, serving for the Supreme Lord unconditionally is what we are still figuring it out. So my first reflection is that can we, as students of Srimad Bhagavatam, keep this as one of the primary objective of our spiritual life now onwards? To say, as much as I use Krishna, can I learn to serve Krishna, love Krishna unconditionally? Serve Krishna as a matter of accepted service, we still do it. What is this loving Krishna? Loving Krishna means our priorities in our life, the words that we use, 2-3 verses before, Narada Muni had explained. How do you channelize your mind thoughts? How do you channelize your thoughts to words? How do you channelize your words to action? How do you channelize your action to subsequently. So from that perspective, we have not yet consolidated as a practicing devotee that I need to start, consolidate my learnings, consolidate my association, the benefits of my association to start loving Krishna. Reorganize, reprioritize activities for Krishna. And in return, nothing that I would expect. This is not very difficult. Those of you who are parents, who have beloved children, who are from a cultured family, you already know how to do it. Give everything for your children and not anything expecting from them. Of course, in the case of child and father or child and mother, you are at the superior position in terms of looking after them. So from that perspective, you have resources at your anvil. But even in Krishna consciousness scenario also, Krishna gives you that privilege. Krishna provides the resources at your disposal, and seeing how much you are utilizing those resources for his pleasure. One grandfather went to a shop and brought a handful of chocolates for his grandson and gave it to the grandson, and the grandchild was so happy. And what did the grandchild do? From the chocolates that the grandfather gave, he picked up 2 of them and gave it back to the grandfather. They said, please have. Probably the grandfather's happiest moment of his life was when he received those 2 chocolates from the child. Not that the grandfather is incapable of buying those 2 chocolates. Not even that the grandfather is wanting those chocolates. But when he sees the grandchild's gesture of reciprocating the love that he gave few minutes before, makes him feel elated. So Krishna does not need our resources. Krishna is not hungry of any of those things. But when Krishna sees love being reciprocated, he immediately gets sold out to that devotee. So my first reflection that I want to conclude by saying that in our devotional life, can we consolidate our learning? Some of you are learning Srimad Bhagavatam on a daily, regular basis. But knowingly or unknowingly, we have not dived into it. We are just scratching it around. Because somebody has told reading Srimad Bhagavatam is auspicious. Somebody has told reading Srimad Bhagavatam will help you in your life's problem. Somebody has told reading Srimad Bhagavatam is actually going to help you learn some Krishna consciousness philosophy. Somebody has told learning Srimad Bhagavatam will get you a degree called Bhakti Vaibhava. Somebody has told learning Srimad Bhagavatam will make you a scholar to give a Bhagavatam class nicely. But all these things are true and we should be, learning Srimad Bhagavatam. But one aspect of Srimad Bhagavatam, which is called the Paribhasha Sutra of Srimad Bhagavatam, which is Ete Changsa Kala Pumsam Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam Indrari Vyakulam Lokam Mridayanti Yuge. Which means to have a firm understanding that Krishna being the Supreme Personality of Godhead, which we all have, but in this case of understanding meaning, reorganize my life, reprioritize my life, reorient my life, which will reflect Krishna as a Supreme Personality of Godhead, which is missing in typically 7 out of 10, sadhaka's life. Because somewhere or the other, we are still beating around the bush. Maybe we are on the right track, but this statement, I'm making it to just, focus more on this aspect, that at some point in time, we should work on loving and only loving without anything expecting back from Krishna. We should start trying them. Not as anything else, but that is going to be our permanent state of affairs that we should eventually get into. So from that standpoint, let's consolidate our learning and put them into action to start loving Krishna. I just want to, end this first reflection by a statement that given a choice, do you want Krishnas or do you want Krishna? The answer is, we want Krishnas at this point in time, which is very good. But can we say we want Krishna? That's when the trajectory will change. That's when Krishna will turn his face towards us. That's when spiritual master says, yes, that's the guy. One devotee went to Srila Prabhupada and asked Srila Prabhupada that, Srila Prabhupada, I want to take initiation. Srila Prabhupada asked the question, said, tell who is Krishna? And the devotee, without thinking for even a minute, he said, Srila Prabhupada, Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Srila Prabhupada said, you are qualified for initiation, I'll give you. No IDC, no Bhakti Sadachar course. No, he asked you only one basic question. Are you convinced Krishna being a Purna Purushottam Bhagavan? Because that is the agenda of International Society for Krishna Consciousness. The festivals, the book distributions, the temple constructions, the bridge preaching program, all sorts of, association, they are all meant for this. I used to always give this example when we talk about this topic, even in this forum a couple of times. I've given this example, but I'll once again reiterate them here. In America, there was a family who decided to plan to celebrate Mother's Day. So Mother's Day is a very special, very big, like Thanksgiving, Mother's Day. They are all a very, some significant celebrations of late. So this family, multiple members of the family who are spread over different parts of America, they've been planning for 6 months to celebrate Mother's Day. So much of meticulous planning, who will come, what costume we'll wear, where all we will go, how we will go, what cuisine we'll make, what entertainment, what song, which dance, what steps. So many plannings have happened. The final, D-Day has come. So every day assembled at mother's house to celebrate Mother's Day. And the day they decided, they all assembled on a, Friday or Thursday evening, and Friday morning, 6 o'clock, they had booked a vehicle to go out on a 2 or 3 days excursion. So they were all upbeat. And the next day morning, the vehicle came. That's when they realized one mistake. The mistake was the mistake of head count for the bus, that they were one seat short of the bus. And unlike in India, I'm not downgrading India, but India has got some conveniences like that, that you can sit in the footboard, you can adjust, licenses are not, at risk. But, they had a problem. because they were going interstate and there will be always checkings. So there was one seat short. It's a big family of 25-30 members, planning for 6 months for celebration. They were looking at each other. What will we do now? After enough discussions, they all went for the excursion, leaving behind mother at home because she offered, I will stay back, you guys go and enjoy. And the Besharam family, they went out for the excursion in the name of Mother's Day, leaving mother back at home. I studied this story in my 3rd standard English, non-detailed story. Since then, it's very strongly etched in my memory. Half of the time, our devotional life, religious beliefs, dharmic activities are just using the Lord's name, but doing something else. If you come to India, or even in overseas for that matter, during Navaratri time, they play something called as Dandiya. During Ganesh Chaturthi time, they have different places Ganesh Pandal. But this Ganesh Pandal and Dandiya invariably of late play cinema music, dance for cinema songs. Some people go to an extent of playing cards, gamble, drink, do every nonsense. Chanda collect karenge Ganesh ke naam pe. They collect donations on the name of Lord Ganesh and do all nonsense. So at least we as a practicing devotee should not fall prey to such an effect of Kali. Because Kali is one of the effect is to misguide us, to misdirect us away from reality. Manda sumanda matayo, manda bhagyahi upadritaha. Sumanda means misguided. Manda means lazy, Sumanda means misguided, Manda bhagya means unfortunate, Upadrita means disturbed, Alpayusha means short-lived. These are the 5 effects of Kali, and we are very easily misguided, Last week, when we had Gaur Purnima Utsav, all our youths, they got upbeat about celebrating Holi. They came to my house and they were dragging me, requesting me, pleading me to come and play Holi. They were only playing the full of colors. I said, I won't come. Because let us learn to celebrate the festival with understanding the meaning, understanding the essence. If you just go by only practices, Navaratri means dancing. Why dancing? What to dance? What is the purpose behind them? Why this was created? What is the cultural benefit of it? What is the spiritual benefit of it? Everything is lost. Deepavali means firecrackers or new dress. Krishna is elsewhere. So our entire agenda that I am trying to represent here, when we talk about Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, especially for a practicing devotee, we all need to learn to love Krishna and to tell Krishna, looking at his eye, Krishna, I want you. I am yours. Please engage me in your service unconditionally. I am saying, this is what I spoke in the Bhakti Shastri class 2 weeks before. Let us start saying this theoretically. Even we may not mean it. Can we say to Krishna, Krishna, I am yours and I want you, nothing less than you. Karagrahe vasasade hridaye madiye madbhakti pasha dridabandhana nischalasan Tvam Krishna he pralaya koti satantarepi sarvasya chaura hridayan nahi mochayami. Bilvamangala Thakura is telling Krishna that I'm going to arrest you in my heart. I'm going to bind you in my heart. That is the kind of love Krishna would enjoy. That is the kind of, not that we should imitate, not that we should, try to jump steps, but the mood is, can we start praying? Can we start seeing Krishna eye to eye and say, Krishna, I am yours. Please engage me in your service unconditionally. Let us start saying it. Who knows? A day will come that we will mean it. And a day will come, we will become. And the day will come, we will make others follow. One Alvar of Sri Vaishnava Sampradaya is singing in his song, Poyen, Poyen, Endru Solli, Meyyen Agi Vandene. Meaning, I have been bluffing around everywhere that I am a devotee, that I am a devotee, that I am a devotee. But finally, one day I became a devotee just by being around. So at least let us start stating, let us start telling, let's all at least build a practice. That is why these prayers are taught. Because in prayers, even though we don't actually mean them, but we by just saying them, we get slowly purified of such thought process. So that is why prayers are, Prabhupada writes in 8th canto, 3rd chapter, text number 1, purport, the importance of chanting prayers. By chanting prayers, we are expressing Krishna some thoughts which probably at some point in time we will subscribe to. Today I am doing it mechanically. A day will come, I will be literally, living by them. So this is my first reflection, consolidation of all our learnings into action. You keep learning, but make sure they are translated into action. One of the action is by expression of our intent in the form of words and prayers. If your intent is correct, if your action is incomplete, you are rewarded. Your intent is wrong, action is complete, you are still, have to catch up on that. So our intent being correct is what is something that we need to work on. The second reflection is about, in the journey of Krishna consciousness, we as practicing devotees, when we are glorifying the Supreme Lord, we glorify the Supreme Lord, we worship the Supreme Lord, as explained in this particular purport, where Srila Prabhupada is nicely explaining the supremacy of the Lord. Srila Prabhupada explains how Krishna, being the cause of all causes, sometimes we are not able to comprehend them and still beat around the bush. As Srila Prabhupada writes here, that the Supreme Lord is actually everything. In the conditioned state, we are bewildered in our understanding, but in the perfect stage of liberation, we can understand that Krishna is the cause of everything. So, I want to explain this particular point about Krishna being the cause of everything being realized. Suppose in our house, in our lives, we have some good news. We got a job, we bought a house, somebody got a child. We celebrate and we go and thank Krishna. Krishna, thank you so much. Krishna, very kind of you. Krishna, you have been so merciful that you gave this to me. Suppose we lost a job. We lost some money. we failed, do we go and say, Krishna, thank you? We say, Krishna, why? I went for Mangalarti. I chanted 16 rounds. I'm associating with devotees. I'm attending Bhagavatam class. Why? So this particular point, in the conditioned state, we are bewildered in our understanding, but in the perfect stage of liberation, we can understand that Krishna is the cause of everything. So our failure, our apparent, shortfall of what we claim as success is also Krishna's mercy. When somebody concludes that, at least to that extent, we are matured. Srila Prabhupada writes in Teachings of Lord Kapila in one purport, very nice point. He writes, my business was going very nicely. Everything was in order. One fine day, I saw my business starting to collapse. I was wondering what was going on. But within the next few months, I was already fulfilling the orders of my spiritual master, which was long pending. So that business collapse, won't we call as Krishna's mercy? That failure, won't we call as Krishna's mercy? That is what is that understanding that Prabhupada is trying to explain here. When we are bewildered, we think what we expect when Krishna fulfills, Krishna is taking care of us. And what we are expecting, Krishna is not fulfilling, Krishna is not taking care of us. It's a very primitive, very incomplete understanding. A self-realized soul does not think like that. And for him, he is beyond dualities. Both Krishna and Krishna's servants, dearest servants, are beyond dualities. Whenever they are put in trouble, they don't bother about themselves and they think that how Krishna, when any trouble used to come in Vrindavan, everybody used to think how Krishna will get affected. Is Krishna safe? Is Krishna happy? When Giriraj was being lifted, Mother Yashoda's thinking was, my son is, poor guy, small, 8-9-year-old boy, is lifting such a huge mountain and he has not even had his, food properly. She expressed this, concern to Nanda Maharaj, and Nanda Maharaj requested all the men that we should help Krishna. And they all used their stick to hold Giriraj as if they can do something. They didn't do anything, but just them holding the stick to the mountain made Krishna's heart, feel so much love for them. Madhumangal, who was there, was a Brahmana boy. He started chanting Vedic mantras. He started chanting so many mantras so that Krishna is able to accomplish this mission. Hold on to this mountain, carefully. So after 7 days, this, Leela got over. Then everybody said, Jai, Jai, Krishna, Krishna ki Jai, Krishna ki Jai. At that time, as humorous as he is, Madhumangal said, everybody is only glorifying Krishna. Nobody is recognizing, because I am a Brahmana, chanted for the Krishna's, welfare. Krishna could successfully do it. So Krishna said, yes, he said, true. Madhumangal should also given credit. That is love. That is how Krishna and Krishna's devotees in Vrindavan, they were worried about Krishna and Krishna was worried about them. They want to give credit to Krishna. Krishna wanted to give credit to them. So my point is, as a second reflection, the way we need to develop, the way we need to build, the way we need to increase our surrender and dependency to Krishna is to acknowledge Krishna's kindness at all point in time and try to learn to see Krishna's hand behind everything. I used to always say this to my students. If our chanting is going in order, if our association, reading, service, everything is going nice, and if still we are put into apparent inconvenient situation, please note, that is what the Lord wants us to go through, either for our purification or for education for others. At that time, we going and asking Krishna, why you did this, will only establish our immaturity. So from that standpoint, my second reflection is that we need to learn to see, and we can learn to see Krishna's hand only when we are not in the bewildered state of mind. And we will not be in bewildered state of mind only when we are subscribing and following the words of liberated souls. So the purport in the line Prabhupada writes, at the liberated state we will see Krishna's hand. When Srila Prabhupada says, when our self-realized soul says, don't worry, this is Krishna's blessings. That's when we start to think that yes, probably this is Krishna's blessings. Otherwise, we, in our own limited understanding, we are bound around dualities, Dvandva Moha. A self-realized soul is beyond dualities. The Supreme Lord is beyond dualities. So one of the ways by which our devotional maturity is assessed is about our understanding about the Supreme Lord. His blessings upon us can come in any form and shape, but He will not let us lose. There's one very senior devotee by name Rasraj Prabhu in Radha Rasvir temple. Around 15-20 years before, he gave a very nice class. I still remember that. He says that it is impossible for the Supreme Lord to let His dearest devotees fail. Because he gave a beautiful example. A multi-millionaire invites you to his house for a function. When he is inviting you for his house function, he knew your social status. He knew that you are not economically wealthy. He knew that you are not socially at par with him. He invites you to his, function. It is his duty to present you and look after you, not your problem. Your problem is to only make sure that you value his invitation, grateful to him for his invitation, mindful of your status quo and show humility. But because you are the guest of multi-millionaire, you will be treated royally. So, we as devotees of Krishna, when we face challenges and blame Krishna, Krishna will not consider as a matured. I used to always say this. If you go and ask Krishna, my dear Lord, why did you do this to me? What if Krishna reciprocates and say, why not? Look at our chat history. Look at your activity log. Look at the audit trail. Look at your browsing history. Look at your daily calendar. Because he has got record of all of them. He has got significant reason to put us through some purification. But in spite of them, he is looking after us very nicely. So technically, if we are very genuine, we will say, Krishna, in spite of whoever I am, you have given me this privilege. Bhaktivinoda Thakur is singing in one of the songs. He says, I thought my material education, my job profile, my prowess, they are everything. Vidyara vilase katayinu. He's singing a song where he says, all my life I thought I am very well learned until I got to realize that all I knew is only some material skills. I have not yet understood the constitutional position that I have to be your servant. So, to conclude the second reflection, I want to say that it is important for all of us to learn to acknowledge and be grateful for what that comes our way. And when we are confused with the outcome in this process, one thing that we can do, instead of asking Krishna why, we can ask Krishna how. My dear Lord, how can I understand this? How can I still serve you? How can I still glorify you? How will I be able to manage this? Then Krishna will know that this guy is anyway ready. If you ask why, then Krishna will say, why not? Then we are in a deadlock situation. So, it is imperative that it is impossible for Krishna to put us in trouble. That is why, Bhajahure Mana Shri Nanda Nandana Abhaya Charanara Vindare. Abhaya Charanara Vindare. There's nothing for a devotee to fear. Krishna Das, Bindas, Maya Das, Sadha Udas. I'll end my second reflection with a small abhang that one of the saints of Pandharpur Dham has sung. The saint's name is called Shoka Mela. He sings in this one of the abhang, Harinama Garjatam Nahimbaya Sindam Aisi Bole Gita Bhagavata Jai Jai Vittala Hari Jai Jai Vittala Hari Jai Jai Vittala Hari Panduranga Tali Vajavavi Kuti Uparavi Vatagi Chalavi Pandari Ji. He says, come, let's all go to Pandharpur. Let's all go to the holy place and sing the holy name of the Lord. And he says, Harinama Garjatam. Garjata means what? Roaring. Gayata means singing. He says, in a very loud, enthusiastic way, if somebody sings the holy name of the Lord, glorifies Krishna, Harinama Garjatam, then he says what? Nahim Bhayasindam. I see Bole Gita Bhagavata. You don't need to worry, you don't have any fear. And that is not my opinion. That's what Bhagavad Gita Bhagavatam says. That's what the Acharya says. So my second reflections, conclusion is that can we rise above the expectation of that Krishna consciousness is always going to give us a rosy, hunky-dory picture. Actually, it is true in the real sense, but from a materialistic viewpoint, we try to differentiate. This is a happy result of Krishna consciousness. This is a sad result of Krishna consciousness. There is nothing called a sad result of Krishna consciousness. And if at all we see them, it is because of what Srila Prabhupada is explaining, because of our bewilderment. And the last reflection, the third one, there is a saying in English. That saying is, give credit where the credit is due. I'm not sure how many of you have heard this. Because when we are not able to recognize Krishna's hand behind every action, if we are not giving attention to the minutest details in our life, if we are not conscious of the activities happening in our life, we may miss out on many notes. Those who are musically inclined, involved, they may be able to correlate with what I'm saying. That because of your knowing music, you will notice even the small notes, small sargam, small harkat, which actually adds beauty to the song. Without that also, you will be able to sing technically correct song. But the necessary enablement, the enjoyment, the beautifying factor comes in when the attention is given to some details. So my third reflection is knowing Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Here Narada Muni is trying to establish Krishna's supremacy in the context of this chapter where instruction to civilized human beings. He is trying to highlight the fact that let's learn to give credit to whom the credit is supposed to be given. Sometimes we take the credit, sometimes we give credit to somebody who is unqualified or somebody who is intermittent. And for us to give credit, we need to have a philosophical understanding. The understanding is that Sarva Karana Karanam, that Prabhupada is writing here. Sarva Karana Karanam. You may have somebody's name as a Karana, but that Karana of that Karana is Krishna, is only devotees know. So that is why, as a matter of practice, let's learn one more phrase. Like how I said in my previous reflection, where as a matter of practice, let us theoretically start saying, Krishna, I am yours. Krishna, you are mine. Please engage me in your service. I do not expect anything in return. Theoretically, we say, at least some point in time, we will be getting there. And similarly, as a third reflection, I want to say, can we use the word called Krishna's mercy? How did you manage this? Krishna's mercy. How did you get this happen? Krishna's mercy. Oh, you are successful. Krishna's mercy. Oh, you didn't do the festival nicely. My fault. That time don't say Krishna's mercy. There are something that we have to learn. So the reason I'm saying this third reflection is, as a part of our materialistic endeavor nowadays, because of technology being advanced, the whole world is starting to think around themselves, self-centeredness, and everybody is starting to proclaim how they are the contributors. But Bhagavatam is repeatedly saying how they are not. Prakriti kriyamanani gunai karmani sarvasaha ahankara vimodatma kartaham iti manyate. One scientist happened to meet God. It's a hypothetical story or some interesting one. So scientist and God, they happened to meet face to face. The scientist was an atheist. So the scientist told God, hey God, the whole world is worshipping you. You are claiming yourself great because you are doing creation, right? From now onwards, we don't need you. We have figured out how to create human beings from dirt. So the Lord started laughing and said, fantastic. Can you please demonstrate? So the scientist was about to, bend down to collect some dirt to show to the Lord how he can create human from dirt. The Lord said, hey, wait. That is mine. Go and pick up your own dirt. You guys can only manipulate. The source of everything is me. There was a church, and very close to the church, the very next door of the church, there was an old building. An atheist businessman bought that building, and he wanted to make a nightclub, bar, and some sort of a casino type arrangement. So knowing about this, the church guys were so upset. They went to the businessman and said that this is our place of worship. So please don't do this. It will disturb our sentiments. This businessman said, I paid millions of dollars to get this property. I will put to use. I don't believe in God. I will go ahead with my construction. The construction began. The church called for a prayer meeting. The meeting is meant to pray to God so that the problem that the businessman is creating is solved once for all. This was a public calling, so many people came and joined the prayer meeting. That night on the prayer meeting, there was a huge rain and thunderstorms and hurricane, and the building collapsed. The businessman who was constructing the building collapsed. He met with a huge loss. The businessman filed a case against the church. Because of the prayers of these devotees, my construction got completely disrupted. And, my building collapsed. And what is the church people are, claiming? We didn't do anything towards this building. So the judge was in an absolute dilemma, in a fix. That an atheist is believing that the prayer worked. And those who prayed, they are claiming that we didn't do anything. Of course, it's just a funny episode to narrate how sometimes the credit that we as devotees need to give Krishna, we seldom give. Whilst even those who are atheists, non-devotees, at least have a fear and a respect. They may not follow, they may not subscribe, but they do appreciate. Prabhupada explains in Krishna book one place that a self-realized soul is such a person, even their enemies appreciate and value them. And he's explaining about Kamsa's appreciation for Vasudeva, Duryodhana's appreciation for Yudhishthira Maharaj. They don't value them because of their own priorities and lifestyle and consciousness. but they sincerely appreciate what is Vasudeva, what is Yudhishthira Maharaj are up to. So, to wrap up the third reflection, I want to say that as a practicing devotee, can we learn to give credit to Krishna for everything by stating to Krishna, by telling to ourselves, by telling to everyone, by making it as a practice, you manage to do it. Krishna's mercy. You can also add Gurudev's mercy. By we stating it again and again and again as a matter of practice, we will start to realize that yes, it's Krishna's mercy. Without his sanction, not even a blade of grass will move. So what to speak of every accomplishment that we are doing. The class is nice, Krishna's mercy, Gurudev's mercy. Prasadam cooked was very nice, Krishna's mercy. The seva went very nice, festival was very nice. The lecture was very nice, the course was very nice. All appreciation, Krishna's mercy. And if something is not gone as expected, then we say, I should have been careful. So I want to say this, that it is very important for all of us to start to realign our Krishna consciousness. I would use the word orientation, because as of now, our Krishna consciousness orientation is like I, me, mine, and Krishna also. Before coming to Krishna consciousness, our thought process were I, me, mine only. Now, because of our regular association with devotees and Bhagavatam, we have come to the level of saying I, me, mine, and Krishna also. But it will be wonderful. A day will come when we are able to say it is Krishna only. And it is for the pleasure of Krishna that I am ready to do anything for him. And he will look after me. And I have no doubt. Param Vijayate, Sri Krishna Sankirtanam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. These are the three reflections from this current context, where Narada Muni is trying to instruct Yudhishthira Maharaj about the civilization, and within the civilization, important members of the civilization, important dharmic principles to be, upheld, and what we need to be careful about. So, at any point in time, knowing about Krishna and serving Krishna, loving Krishna, dependent on Krishna, and giving all credit to Krishna is part of our Vaishnava tradition. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. If you take up any questions or comments or any other reflections, critiques, I'll be happy to hear them. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Jai Gaura Premanande, Hari Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dandavad Pranam. What a wonderful class, Prabhuji. Such very high realizations, but something that definitely we all need to think about as devotees, practicing devotees, trying to understand how to make Krishna actually in the center of our life and not use Krishna for our benefit. So I love the point that, yes, we have to make sure that we give credit to Krishna because he deserves it all, and only for the good things. Be careful about what we are saying. The examples were also very interesting, Prabhuji. So wonderful class. I like the Mother's Day class, Mother's Day, the example. Pretty much that's the position that we are at. So unfortunate, but you have given us something, food for thought, actually. So but Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Is it Priti Vilasni Mataji? Would you like to go ahead, Mataji?
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Oh, it's lost. Yeah. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, again for the very, very nice class. I just wanted to reflect and echo 2 points that you mentioned. One is, how did this happen? That question, instead of asking that question, ask why did it happen? And then Krishna's answer is why not? I really like that. It's a very deep statement, something to ponder about. In every walk of life, almost every day we go through different circumstances. And I think we have to rephrase the question very, very carefully. Yeah, thank you so much for that. And also, the scientist and the God conversation was very interesting. He's trying to make things with the materials given by the Lord. Yeah, what are we capable of? Nothing, right? At the end of the day, we are so insignificant. Yeah. Thank you, Prabhu. How much pertinent it is to always depend on Krishna and accept his plan. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. God bless you.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees. If you have any realizations or questions to share, please go ahead and unmute yourself or raise your hand. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, do you have any time?
Yeah, I'm sure. I can spend some time. So,
We're really grateful that you came at the very last minute, although it was so late, and you delivered such a wonderful class. Okay. If there are no other realizations, we can look at chat. Sindhura Mataji, she says, Hare Krishna Prabhu, please accept my humble obeisances. She wanted to thank you for the wonderful class. And same Hare Krishna. And Uttarayani Ilango Mataji, she is also thanking you for the wonderful class and very valuable reflections for us to take back and ponder on. Prabhuji, please bless us that we can incorporate that in our life too. It's so difficult.
well, I guess these are all something that I need to take home. I'm using this platform for speaking for myself. So please bless. I'm sure all of us need to help each other, and may we bring in a smile in the face of our spiritual masters and our leaders who are investing a lot of their time for our growth. And I'm sure when they get to hear we making some progress, I think that'll give them a lot of relief. So that's what was that. Hare Krishna.
Okay, dear devotees, we'll end the call here. Mancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa
Kripa Sindhubhaya Vacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo
Vaishnavebhyo
Namo
namo
Namah.
namaha. Anantakoti Vaishnav Vrinda ki jai, Grantraj Srimad
Jai,
ki jai, Srila Prabhupada
Jai,
ki jai, His Grace
Jai.
Jai,
ki jai. Thank you.
Jai.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, dear devotees. We'll end the
Hare
call.
Krishna. Gauranga, Nityananda,
Nityananda. Hare Krishna.
Hari Bol.